Hi, my name's Bridie Baton. I'm a business services manager for Derbyshire County Council, and I work for the scheduling team. My main role is to focus on system improvements and processes and how to make our tasks most effective and efficient. And I manage a team of schedulers, so there's around 40 of us all together, and we work on a shift basis, and we schedule the client calls for the carers. We use MaxCare in CCL for just because of the sheer volume of clients and carers we've got over the county. So we look after the entirety of Derbyshire County Council. So that's a lot of clients, a lot of carers. So the function of MaxCare supports us assigning client calls, and it makes it a more automated system rather than a manual. So that's what we use it for. Yeah, so the main benefit of MaxCare for us is it is smart technology which assigns calls based on the carer, the client, location and run, which is very important to us when we're assigning our calls. And without having to manually understand the carer's journey, we can rely on MaxCare to have done most of the hard work for us. So if we had a new scheduler, say for example, in the team, and they're awaiting training and they've not quite understood the geographical challenges that we have as a service, they're able to go onto CCL and rely on MaxCare to have completed the majority of the run for them. So they can then manually assign things such as ad hoc changes, sickness, carer, leave, and they can just go in and change those kind of surprises that we weren't expecting before. So it's not as tedious, it's not as manual as it was before. So especially for our new schedulers that come in, it is a lot easier to train them nowadays. But it's very, very effective system, and it helps us. It gives us it basically supports us with the heavy lifting before we go in and make those kind of surprise changes, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so it helps greatly with capacity for us. So for a schedule without MaxCare, we had to rely on them to assign 2 weeks ahead so we can see the capacity of what it looks like. And it's incredibly tedious as the service changes all the time, sometimes by the hour. It's short-term service, so it runs relatively quickly. So we can run MaxCare, which will auto assign calls 2 weeks prior, and you can put that in whenever you want, meaning we can identify capacity with the rotors most effectively and quickly. So the schedulers can then optimise the rotors after and make changes nearer the time of the call for those kind of surprise calls, rather than wasting their time assigning calls that will often change. So our typical length of stay should be around 14 days, but this allows the operational managers, not just us, to see what the capacity is weeks ahead. So they can just quickly go on CCL, see where MaxCare's assigned everything, and they can see the gaps really clearly in the schedule and be able to take on new clients into that. So MaxCare has really helped with the efficiencies in the service, and one example of that is that we were in a position where the DSOs, which are the operational managers, were assigning calls manually as well as the schedulers, so the scheduling team, and the DSOs didn't feel that they could rely on the manual process just due to the lack of geographical knowledge that was in the team at the time. And once MaxCare was introduced, the DSOs could focus their energy on other parts of the service, whilst allowing MaxCare to do the majority of the assigning and having that geographical knowledge already implemented in the system. So it left the more reactive parts to the schedulers, and they were able to focus, on other things within the service. So from my perspective, it had a really positive reduction in staff workload from both teams, meaning their efforts could be focused elsewhere. So before the scheduling team were created, there was a team of operational managers called DSOs, and they wanted to focus on their normal routine of work and tasks, and what they were doing was spending a lot of time scheduling, etc. So what ended up happening is a review took place where they reduced down the operational managers and created the scheduling team, which is the scheduling team I manage now. And this is where CCL came in into it, and MaxCare as well. Knowing that we had MaxCare, we were able to build this smaller team of schedulers and team leaders to be able to just focus solely on CCL and scheduling client calls. But with the help of MaxCare, that meant that we didn't need such a big team. So we've stuck with the same amount of schedulers years down the line, and we've not needed to increase that because we've always had the support of MaxCare in CCL to be able to help us with that assigning. So we have recently been working with the customer service team, and have actively worked hard to identify and address optimization areas within MaxCare, and it's something that we've worked really hard with them at, and that is changing the MaxCare parameters levels, so depending on travel time and travel mileage as well. So we've specifically tailored the MaxCare parameters to our areas. So for example, we've got the Dales, which is a long travel time, so that can be between 25 and 30 minutes, and then we've got Chesterfield Town, which can be 3 to 5 minutes travel. And by reducing and tailoring that MaxCare parameter down, it means that the calls will effectively assign to the clients and the carers, meaning that it's the most accurate it can be. And because there's such a vast amount of geography in the area, it means that it will adapt to those specific requirements. And since we've done that, it's been more effective than it was before. It was very effective before, so this was better for us because it meant we could run MaxCare in different areas, and it made sense. The run made sense, and it allocated correctly to the right carer and client. So MaxCare makes sure that it allocates to the correct visit because it's got in my opinion, it's got a consistent kind of algorithm in it. So it ensures that it does not assign carers that are not available, whether a client stops, pauses, excursions or training, it never assigns it incorrectly to somebody that it shouldn't assign it to. So it's very reliable in that sense. So MaxCare, without a shadow of a doubt, will assign the call to the shortest travel time, and it does the mileage calculation. So it means we can run a mileage report, which is accurate because it's using the latest mapping software. It's saving a huge administration task on the carers and other parts of the service because it means we can just send the report to our pay team and they can just be paid the mileage straight away. So it's very easy, it's very simple to use.